Welcome to the Observers Direct, the show in which we go meet our observers in person. This week we go to South Africa. We start in Kliptown, part of the historic black township of Soweto, and also the birthplace of the Freedom Charter. Now that was the document in which the African National Congress first laid out its priorities 60 years ago. One of the promises was that slums shall be demolished. Well, the ANC took power 20 years ago when apartheid ended, but the slums in Kliptown still exist. My colleague Julien Pain went to meet our observer Thabo.
When the votes come, they say we must vote. We must vote for ANC. ANC do nothing for us.
So you don't know where your grandchild is. Why did you do that to you?
Thank you.
So it's your job?
Yeah, except for being a side guide, we also sing with the gentlemen and we call ourselves Together.
Together?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
And why do you sing here? What's this place?
Well, this is the Freedom Charter Monument. This is where the first democratic constitution of the country was drafted. And there's the part of the things here are not being fully executed. Yeah, there shall be work and security. There isn't much of work. So that's a different thing, but there shall be houses, security and comfort. Yeah, well, it's still a different story, especially in Kliptown. We don't have proper houses. It's an informal settlement.
Thabo lives in Kliptown. Not much has changed in this Soweto slum since the end of apartheid. Our observer takes us to his home.
What is it made of, your house?
This is corrugated iron.
I guess in summer it must be extremely hot.
It is. Normally on summer, unless if you don't have a fan or something, or a better way of making it cool inside there, you wouldn't stay here much.
The authorities have failed to provide Kliptown with running water or electricity, so residents illegally connect electrical wires and cables to the state-run supply network. It gives Thabo just a few hours of power per day, but at least it works.
But right now the electricity is back, so yeah, we're on top of the game.
People here feel abandoned and let down. This older resident has clearly had enough.
The people are scared to talk. I'm not scared.
You're lighting your house with this?
Yes. If you got a big house, you light with 3 or 4.
And Mandela he married here. This is the Mandela's place where he started to marry Winnie Mandela here in Kliptown. But when the votes come, they say we must vote. We must vote for ANC. ANC do nothing for us.
The mood at this shopping mall is totally different. Here people dream of designer goods and luxury cars. It's a far cry from the slums.
You have a nice car like that?
I wouldn't mind, eh? Yeah. As long as it spends, I'm happy. As long as it spends, I'm happy.
When we were living in South Africa in apartheid, non-whites were not allowed to drive beautiful cars. And if you see at this event today, there's a lot of different colors, different creeds. People just come together for the love of cars. And it shows that we're finally free.
Lizelle introduces us to her 18-year-old daughter Stacey, who is something of a local celebrity. She takes us to a motorsport event called spinning. It was invented in Soweto and is as dangerous as it looks. We head to the arena, where Stacey is very much at home.
Most men will say a woman belongs in the kitchen. So I disagree with that statement because I'm trying to show everybody that women can do anything a man can do. You can be rich, you can be poor, white, black, Indian, colored, anything. As long as you come here, we're all a family at Milk and Smoke.
Although spinning is very popular in South African townships and draws crowds from different communities, the country does remain deeply divided. There are very few white people here in Hillbrow, one of South Africa's poorest and most dangerous neighbourhoods.
Hi.
Is it safe?
Don't go around doing wrong things, then you'll survive.
Well, you need to know the rules of the neighborhood.
Yeah. Don't do anything stupid, otherwise stupid things will happen to you.
And yet one white middle-class family left their comfortable home in the suburbs to live in a high-rise surrounded by dilapidated buildings.
So around here we've got this building, for example, which is a brothel. A lot of homeless people living around here, but this street over here is a particularly notorious area for buying drugs. We moved into this neighborhood in May 2012, and it was really out of a conviction that we wanted to live in a counterculture way to where how South Africa was living. South Africa at the time had the highest inequality ratio in the world. In the recent study, it showed that 2 South Africans have got the equivalent wealth to the poorest 50% of South Africans. And this is quite a common hijacking hotspot. In fact, I was held up here. We had just moved in, and he came to my window with a gun, and then he asked for my cell phone, put the gun to my head. And you know what happens in those moments is time sort of just freezes, you know. And I drove for about 10 meters, and I just broke down in tears, incredibly fearful of what had just happened.
With the support of his family, Nigel was able to put the ordeal behind him. He and his wife have 5 children who all go to local public schools.
Just what's it like going there with being one of the only white children in the school?
Well, mainly everyone just wanted to be with me because I was white.
Everybody wanted to be with you because you were. And did they, what did they do?
They would come, sometimes they would come and touch my hair.
Nigel's wife Trish often thinks about the life they left behind, their large house complete with swimming pool in a white suburb of Johannesburg.
We do feel sadness. Sometimes it does feel like we're making a big sacrifice, but I think that is also part of our faith. We feel and we believe that God will reward us.
Night falls and Nigel takes us to one of the so-called hijacked buildings where slumlords profit from the misery of others. It's hell on earth.
The conditions in here are absolutely horrific. These are the people we're coming to see. Let me just say hello to them over here. Guys, nice to see you, eh?
Nigel introduces us to a group of blind beggars, most of them Zimbabwean immigrants.
This is my friend Enoch as well. This is Kenneth, Enoch, and Angelina.
Okay. Why are there so many people, blind people here? In one place?
Why?
Yeah, why are you?
It is partly because it's only the building, one of the buildings that accept blind people. Other buildings won't accept blind people in their flats.
And the school here? How much does it cost for this room to rent?
1.2.
Like €100 per month?
Yes. What the owner of the flat expects is money. So at the end of the day, failing to receive his money, you will be kicked out.
South Africa has surprised us so far. There's Nigel, who abandoned the cosy suburbs for the inner city. There's the black middle class, now fully integrated into consumer society. And these white families with nothing. We're in the outskirts of Pretoria, the capital. There are dozens of squatter camps here, just a few kilometres away from some of the region's wealthiest households.
The gas and candles and paraffin. They don't want to give us power because you don't have the money for it.
Social services have just stopped by. They told her it was too unsanitary, too unsafe, and so they took away her granddaughter.
So you don't know where your grandchild is? Why did you do that to you?
For those living here, the end of apartheid has brought nothing but trouble.
You don't get work when you're white. You must. They keep saying it's affirmative action, affirmative action. But when is the affirmative action going to stop?
There are only a few dozen families here, but they are just as desperate as those in the Soweto slums.
If my skin was black, I will get for all the children and myself, because I know a lady. She gets grant for 4 small kids and for herself, so she can look after the kids, and she's black.
All these families and the Kliptown community want is to have somewhere decent to live. We meet with a representative from the Johannesburg City Council to see what the authorities are doing to improve the situation and to take a look around one of their flagship housing schemes.
How long have you been living here? 2010? How's life over here?
But they are far from the city, and there's no jobs to be found.
What kind of job can you have around here? Because it's pretty empty, right?
There is no jobs here.
So what are you going to do? Just stay here?
Yes.
If you have like 300,000 people living in Hijacked right now, at the end of the project you'll have 22,000 people living here in nice houses. It's still like very few compared to the problem, no?
Look, I think one of the biggest challenges in the city of Joburg is the urbanization of Joburg. There's a lot of migrant people moving from the outskirts of Joburg into Joburg to seek employment opportunities. I don't think our work's ever going to end. A lot of initiatives are in the pipeline, and we will continue planning that pipeline.
So there are projects in the pipeline, but they're nowhere near completion. Which means our Observer and the hundreds of thousands of others living in South African slums will have to be patient. Mandela's dream is still a work in progress.
That's it for this edition of the Observer's Direct. Now remember, we need you to help us make this program. So if there's an issue in your community you think the world needs to know about, get in touch. Maybe we'll come see you for the next Observer's Direct.